Get ready to learn the top secrets and simple strategies for living the life of your dreams. Welcome to Living the Dream Podcast, where it's not just about achieving your goals in the future, it's about enjoying your journey along the way. Here are your hosts, Krista Joy and Christy Fredericks.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our show. Do you love to cook but feel like it's hard to find the time with everything else you have going on in your life?
Or do you hate to cook like me, and even if you had all the time in the world, you would have absolutely no desire to do it?
Or maybe you're just new to this whole cooking thing and you're looking for some easy and yummy recipes to get you started.
Well, no matter which situation sounds more like you, we've got you covered in today's episode. Simple and delicious 5-ingredient or less recipes.
So grab yourself a piece of paper and pen because we're about to share 5 of these easy and tasty recipes. We've chosen a drink, an appetizer, a salad, an entree, and a dessert to get you started. I hope you're prepared to get really hungry.
First up, we're going to start with a beverage. So if you happen to be a Walt Disney World fan like Krista and I, you may have tried a non-alcoholic breakfast version of this drink at Boma at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge or at other restaurants throughout Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. It's sometimes called Frunch, but we're going to call our version Jungle Juice. And I'll share with you both an alcoholic as well as non-alcoholic version. So here are the ingredients that you'll need. Orange juice, passion fruit juice, guava juice, and grenadine. And for the alcoholic version, you'll want Malibu coconut rum, or for the non-alcoholic version, you'll want Sprite. So what you do is in a tall glass with ice, you'll want to pour in equal parts orange juice, passion fruit juice, guava juice, and then either the Malibu coconut rum or Sprite, depending on if you want the spiked version or not. Then stir for a few seconds to combine the juices and to chill the drink. Then add a splash of grenadine for color and added flavor. And if you want to get really fancy and take a little extra time, you could decorate your glasses with an orange slice and a maraschino cherry. It's so simple and super tasty.
I absolutely love this recipe, Christy, because as you're talking and describing it, I'm thinking about all the great times that, well, even you and I have had together. We've been to Boma together.
Yes, we have.
Enjoyed this drink at the buffet. So I love that you added this to the episode today. Really good stuff. Well, next up is our appetizer, which is a delicious pesto. And this sauce is perfect for dipping a sliced baguette, focaccia bread, or even Triscuits. So here's what you need. 2 cups packed fresh basil leaves, extra virgin olive oil, and sea salt to taste. So you begin by placing the 2 cups of basil leaves and about a 1/3 cup of olive oil in a food processor. And you pulse that until it's coarsely chopped. Then add another 1/3 cup of olive oil and continue pulsing until it's smooth. Finally, add a little sea salt to taste and you're good to go.
Wow, that sounds amazing. See, I'm already getting hungry. I knew this would make us hungry. Okay, so next up, we have on our list a watermelon and cucumber salad. And here's what you need. So a half of a large watermelon diced, 1 cucumber diced, 1 red onion chopped, a 1/3 cup of balsamic vinegar, and then salt to taste. So you're going to start by cutting your large watermelon in half lengthwise, and then dice half of the watermelon, and then go ahead and save that empty rind for later. You're going to use that as the bowl. So then you're going to place the watermelon, cucumber, red onion, balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of salt into a large bowl and mix it together. And then finally, you pour that mixture back into the hollowed out watermelon rind. And voila, you're done. Time to dig in.
Well, sounds delicious, but beautiful too to look at, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're ready to move on to the main event, the entree, garlic butter steak. So here's your list of ingredients. Here's what you need. Really quick and easy. 2-inch thick ribeye steaks, 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 cloves of garlic peeled and smashed, 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary, 2 sprigs of thyme, salt and pepper to taste. That's all you need. And now, if you have a favorite way to cook your steak on the grill or in the oven, you can do that. And then just finish your steak with this recipe. But if you have no clue, like me, how to cook a steak, here's what you do. First, preheat your oven to 200 degrees. Next, season your steak generously with salt and pepper on all sides. Then put your steaks on a wire rack that has been placed on a baking sheet. Next, put your steaks in the oven for an amount of time based on how you like your steak prepared. No matter what temperature you're going for, you will want to flip your steak over and check the temperature after the first 15 minutes to start. You can slowly add a little baking time to get to the temperature that you like. So if you want a rare steak, it should read about 130 degrees. Medium rare is 135 degrees. Medium should be 145 degrees. Medium well should be 150 degrees. And well done is 160 degrees. Once your steak hits your desired temperature, heat a large pan on high with a little canola oil in it until it starts to smoke. Next, place your steaks in a pan and sear them for about a minute on each side. Then add the butter, garlic, rosemary, and thyme to the pan and swirl it around. After that, baste your steak with a large spoon, pouring the buttery mixture in the pan over top your steak for about a minute or so. Flip the steak over and do the same on the other side too. Finally, once your steak is nicely brown on both sides, remove it from the pan and let it rest on a cutting board for about 5 to 10 minutes before slicing it into strips.
Wow, I am starting to drool. That sounds so good. And so now our final recipe and delicious 5-ingredient recipe is a key lime pie. And I know you and I have both made this one several times. It's so yummy and so easy. So here's what you need. You need one ready-made 9-inch graham cracker pie crust, one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, a half a cup of key lime juice, one 8-ounce container of Cool Whip thawed, and then whipped cream and lime slices for garnish if you want to take a little extra time and decorate it. So what you want to do is in a large bowl, you're going to beat the sweetened condensed milk and lime juice. Again, this is key lime juice, a little different than just lime juice, with an electric hand mixer on medium speed until it's smooth and thickened. Then you'll fold in the entire container of Cool Whip. And finally, you spoon that mixture into the pie crust, cover it, and refrigerate it for at least an hour until it's set. And then when you slice it to serve it, you can top it with the whipped cream and a small lime slice for decoration if you'd like. So Krista, what do you think? Are you hungry now? Would you try any more of these recipes?
Sure, absolutely. I love this idea of just these handful of ingredients in each one. It makes you feel like, well, I can do this without messing it up. I mean, how hard can it be, right? With so few ingredients.
Exactly. So like when you normally cook, do you use complicated recipes or do you prefer easier ones like this with fewer ingredients?
Well, I prefer not to cook at all. Honestly, I am not domestic in that way. Now with what just happened with everybody staying home, we were kind of pushed into it, and I haven't hated the whole process. I've been enjoying kind of learning and taking it slow and doing the easy stuff. Now tackling like something like a steak, this would make me really nervous, but I would love to get good at that because that's, of course, everybody loves steak. That's one of the favorite things in the world to eat. But with it just makes it sound really easy. The recipe that I read out loud, you get a lot of confidence. You feel like you could do it. How about you? Tell me your relationship with cooking, Christy.
Okay, I hate cooking. I absolutely detest it. I mean, even from when I was really young, my parents just love food and restaurants and the grocery store. And I just remember like a big outing every week was them taking me to the store and they'd put me in the cart and they'd push me around and they'd be like, you want to try to eat this? You want to try this? Pick anything in the grocery store and we'll get it and we'll make it and we'll try it. And I was like, ugh, gross. No, yuck. I don't want anything but crayons. Like I never wanted no food. I didn't even want candy. I didn't want the desserts, the sugar-coated cereal. I didn't want any of it. And so I am not really tremendously into food. But when I eat, I want someone else to make it for me. So I am so struggling right now with, like you said, we're in a special circumstance where um, even if you do go pick up your food, it isn't necessarily as good as when you sat down and ate it in the restaurant because you've got to drive to get it, drive to bring it home, and then it's kind of cold. And so I- honestly, of everything, this is probably my biggest struggle, and it sounds so silly, but I have a family to feed. And so if it were not for simple recipes like this, I wouldn't be able to do it because in addition to not really knowing how to cook or liking to cook or even like to grocery shop, I'm really bad at multitasking, really bad at it. And I feel like you have to be a really good multitasker to be successful at cooking. And so what I liked about these recipes in particular, like even the steak one, which has, it seems like a lot of steps, um, seemed doable to me because I'm not trying to do a bunch of things at once. So I felt like, okay, I just have to put my steak in the oven and like take it out and check the temperature. I can do that. I'm not trying to juggle 3 or 4 tasks. And I've got, like, I don't know if you've ever watched the show Worst Cooks on, I think it's on the Food Network. I could totally be on that show. But by the end, these people are making these super complicated gourmet meals for these, dining critics. And I don't even know how they do it. They're making like 2 or 3 things at once. They got all these pots going, and that's way too much for me. 3 to 5 ingredients, perfect. That's my wheelhouse.
Have you tried the steak recipe yourself?
I have not. The steak recipe I haven't tried. Now my son tried a steak recipe like this, similar, in high school. He's about to be a high school senior, and they pick out what classes that they want to take, and that doesn't always happen. So he ended up in culinary arts 1. So that was kind of like, what am I doing in cooking class? I signed up for PE. All right, we'll figure this out. So again, he's got a mom that's not a cook. So this was all new. But their final was preparing a garlic butter steak. And he got an A on it. And he said, actually, Mom, it turned out to be really easy and it was really good. And I felt like, heck, if my 16-year-old who has a mom that doesn't really cook and hasn't really taught him a lot about cooking can pull this off, I feel like I could pull this off. Other people who don't like to cook can pull this off. And it sure sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It doesn't. It just makes it sound so simple. It probably is. We're probably making it way too big in our minds, Christy.
Well, and some of it too, like for me, it's like those expensive ingredients, right? So if I feel like, oh my gosh, I've just bought a $15 steak, I can't blow this.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, they're pricey, and right now with a little bit of a meat shortage going on, it's something that I think about, and I think, ooh, makes me a little nervous, but it's something I definitely would like to try because it's probably one of the things that I'm missing most are, I can make, maybe not good mashed potatoes, but I can make instant mashed potatoes out of a box. I can make a salad, I can make some of the easier things, but to have a really good steak or something like that, I'm definitely not getting that right now for sure.
Yeah. What I miss is seafood. When we finally did get to go to a restaurant, I ordered actually 2 plates of food. I got a shrimp entree and then a fish entree. Pete will make scallops that are so good, and for some reason, whenever I'm at the store, I don't think to pick them up. So I've been missing seafood a lot. I'm ready for everything to be open again so I can get some seafood. But other than that, we've kind of figured it out. What kind of stuff are you making right now?
So again, just like I said, I'm not big on cooking or grocery shopping, and I have literally the palate of a 10-year-old. I mean, steak is probably the most exotic thing that I eat. As you said, the word scallops, I'm thinking, I've never had one. I'm allergic to a ton of seafood, but I've just, I eat like a 10-year-old. So the things that we are having are things like tacos, hot dogs, hamburgers, spaghetti, brats, just like really sloppy joes, chili. We still have snow here. From time to time. I know, we're recording this in May. It typically stops snowing here by June 1st. So, there's always a good day to put chili in the crock pot, when it's snowy outside. Um, so, really simple stuff. And again, that's why this 3 to 5 ingredients are really in my wheelhouse. It, I'm one of those people I'm better at heating things up, I guess, than cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Like making pasta from a box or heating sauce or frozen meatball, just like, we're not really cooking from scratch.
Yeah, we do a little beef and a little chicken in our grocery cart, but some days I go through the line and I think they're gonna think like the checkout person will think there's a third grader at my house between the Cocoa Puffs that I buy,
Yep.
the Oreos. We got some Oreos a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I literally picked up my grocery order yesterday morning. I have a box of Twinkies in it. Yeah, 100%. Yep. Got the Twinkies. Yep, we're good to go.
It's been an experience. So what do you think? Do you think when things go back to normal, you guys are going to go back to takeout and dining in restaurants more than eating at home?
We were pretty excessive as far as our eating out goes. I've got basically a family of 4 here, and our schedules are pretty, I've got 2 teenagers, so our schedules are kind of all over the place. So it wasn't unusual for like my teenager to bring home a meal because he was going out with friends. And, so I think probably what we'll do is we'll probably be a little bit better as far as eating out goes. We won't eat out quite as much because number one, we've noticed that we feel better.
Mm.
I think we were eating a lot of food, obviously when you eat out, there's a lot higher salt content, fat content, unless you're good. I mean, but when I go to a restaurant, I'm not ordering the salad. You and I've eaten out together a lot. Have you ever seen me eat a salad? No, of course not. I'm the guy, I've got the burger, I've got the fries, I've got the steak. Remember the day we ate that bacon at the Edison?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was that
bacon on the
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that bacon, right? Those are the things, that's what I go to. I grew up in the Midwest, a meat and potatoes kind of lifestyle. And so I still, even though I'm in a much healthier state and everything's, organic and salads and all this stuff here, I never really adopted that culture, even though I've lived here 20 plus years. So my hope is that, we'll come to kind of a balance, because before this, we were probably going out maybe 6 to 8 times a week. So once this is done, I hope we hit more to like 2 or 3, so we kind of find a nice balance.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. I mean, we travel a lot, so and not necessarily really far, but like we'll do gigs in Cocoa Beach or like an hour or 2 hours from home. And so I don't know. I kind of hope we kind of hit the proper balance of not having a completely empty fridge. Like that's how we were living before.
I've got teenage boys, and we didn't have, I mean, we had Diet Coke and ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Us too. And, it was really a big thrill if we had, a few things in the fridge. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping we'll do a little better. My issue is planning and thinking ahead. I know that if I just did a little bit more of that, we'd be better off. We even did, remember when, maybe it's still a big thing, but when we used to order the big box, and it would come with 3 meals in it that you could prepare. The different companies,
I do remember
if
those.
you just needed a dash of salt, they would literally just put a dash of salt in the box. And Peter and I got so excited. We were like, oh, This is our answer. This is what we need, because we hate the shopping part, So we were doing those boxed meals for a while. And it was great. It was great on the times we did it. And then towards the end, we ended up throwing an entire 3-meal supply in the garbage because we never either made the time or had the time to cook anything. And that was when I was like, okay, forget this. We tried, but we just can't be throwing away money like that,
Exactly. And then there's that guilt associated with, oh my gosh, like I always feel bad about the animals, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor cow died and I just threw it. it's just a mental thing for me, but I get it. It's really hard. I struggle with the same thing. And so like during this situation, I've tried to buy more frozen food and canned food and jar food because I'm trying to still kind of steer away from fresh stuff a little bit because I just, even despite the fact that we are, under this like safer at home here in Colorado and we're not we're recommended to stay at home as much as possible. I still the
Oh, so
drive-through,
good.
it's so close. I can see that restaurant, I mean, so I'm still lured in to go out and pick up food a couple times a week, even though I know, everything would be better if I would just stay home and do what I'm supposed to do. But so I just don't like throwing away with the food, exactly like you said. And I've tried that. I didn't try the boxes, but they used to have this thing here in Colorado, and I don't know if they still have it, but where you would go to a little place and they had all the food already pre-cut for you and set up, and you would it had stations and you'd pick out, what meals you wanted to prepare. And like on Monday, you'd show up and you'd have a time slot where you'd have an hour and you'd basically kind of prep all the food. You know how people do that? You hear these people who are I respect these people and admire them so much. Like they'll spend all day Sunday like
Yeah.
prepping a whole bunch of meals, right? And sticking them in the freezer. Same concept, but they already had everything cut and ready, and you just basically had to assemble and take it home and stick it in your freezer. That didn't work for me either. Same as you, I was so ambitious and I got it all home. I stuck it in my freezer, and then 6 months later, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I did that." It just, I just feel like maybe I'm just too old to train at this point.
Well, I think we're here to give everybody hope that's listening to the show today. If anybody needs these recipes and needs, like a new train of thought, it's us. So
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like these are going to be inspiring. It gives me a little motivation and a little confidence that I can pull off some of this stuff if I take the time, make the effort. I guess.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just going to be priorities and what's important to us. But yeah, I mean, my mom always said that we would save a ton of money and we would probably lose weight if we ate at home more. And I can tell you the last couple of months, that didn't prove to be true at all. So if there's anybody else out there that has guilt about eating out, I got to tell you, having this stuff at home, I mean, it probably has a lot to do with what we're buying. Yeah, like
your Oreos and Cocoa Puffs.
The cabinet and getting the Cocoa Puffs when they didn't used to be there because we didn't used to have groceries in the house. I don't particularly know that we've lost weight. I mean, maybe we've saved money, maybe not, because I mean, even the grocery store, I can't get out of there without spending $100. So that's one thing. I think I busted a family myth there that we might actually do a little better eating out, but we'll just have to see. I mean, I hope that we can find the proper balance. I hope that I can be more intentional when things get back to normal and we're traveling a lot. Just trying to do better. What can we do? We do the best we can.
Exactly. And I think you're right about just being intentional, mindful about like what I put into myself. And I think for me in particular, I get so busy, and I know you do this too. You get so busy and whatever it is you happen to be working on, and then all of a sudden I'm so hungry. Like the thought of taking an hour to prepare something that my teenage boys are literally going to eat in 10 minutes. It's like, I just need to like plan ahead, make sure I'm not going into, I'm starving and I just have to like, what can I find to, just fill the hunger in that second. And like you said, just be more intentional about here's what I'm going to actually make today. And gear my mind up for it.
There's so many resources out there. There's also crock pot recipes, which we didn't even touch on today, but those are huge for people like us to throw something in a crock pot and let it go for 6-8 hours. I mean, that's doable in my world. So
Yes, absolutely. And we'll probably end up doing another episode where we go over our favorite crock pot recipes. I do have like my chili, and we've got a good barbecue brisket from Kansas City. Got to have that barbecue. So we should definitely do one about that.
Do that. So, any other final thoughts today, Christy? Yeah.
No, I need a snack. I think that's my thought. It's getting to be breakfast time at my house, lunchtime at yours. So I feel like I better eat something. I better take my advice to myself about being mindful and intentional and eating something before I go into starving mode and just cramming whatever I can into my face.
Yeah.
I think I need a snack.
Let's go do that. Well, we hope
Okay.
you've enjoyed today's episode. And if we've inspired you to get cooking, you can check out our website, newlivingthedreampodcast.com, for these recipes. Do a quick Google search to find ones that sound good to you, or check out one of the many 5-ingredient or less cookbooks available on Amazon. And if you've tried any easy 5-ingredient or less recipes, we would love to hear from you. Obviously, we need all the help we can get, so please let us know.
Absolutely.
Show off a photo of one of your delicious creations in our Facebook group, Simple Dream Life Strategies. And please remember to include the recipe. We can't wait to get hungry and inspired by your success.
Thanks for listening to Living the Dream podcast, where we know it's not just about achieving your goals in the future, it's about enjoying your journey along the way.
Thanks for listening to Living the Dream podcast, where we know the secret to living your dreams begins with the smallest steps that lead you to your essential joy. Music for today's episode was provided by Peter Alden's Kingdom Classics, now available for purchase on our website. This presentation represents the opinions of the hosts and guests of the show. Our show is informational and for entertainment purposes only. Always consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we are sharing is accurate, we welcome your comments and suggestions. Contact information for Krista Joy can be found at disneyways.com/connect. Reach out to Christy Fredericks at disneyworldenthusiast.com/about. At Living the Dream podcast, we know it's not just about achieving your goals in the future, it's about enjoying your journey along the way.